gonna go cut through this way first. Okay.
Don't worry, we're gonna tell you what's going on in about. God damn it, I got sawdust in my eye. Yeah.
So today, we're building front splitter tunnels. These are gonna be the two curved main tunnels that evacuate air from away from your front tires and stuff like that. Then we got the straight tunnel. Straight tunnel. So we're gonna get these hopefully into primer today. That's the goal. We have one built. Build a reverse angle of the other side, and then mud them up, prime them, get them ready to make molds. So then we can make carbon fiber versions of these same exact things.
It's like a game of Battleship.
Exactly.
A3. You sunk my battleship.
I've already cut these because I already did one side, so I'm just reversing it. Essentially, this curve right here is gonna take all of the air from underneath the tunnel and curve it out away from the tire so it doesn't hit right into the base of the tire. And I have a specific curve I want it to keep. That's why I've sanded down this edge. But so I'm gonna need to set up this guy here. This guy's gonna be in the middle. And then this little piece will sit out here and make sure that the edge of this is at the correct height. That's done. So I'm gonna mark out all this stuff. We're gonna epoxy these pieces down first into the back of this. Actually, I'm gonna cut a new board because this has like a texture on one side. It's like fake wood, but it's made out of some type of plastic, and if you heat it up, it bends really nice. Yeah, it turns like an orangish burnt, orange like brown color whenever it gets cut. But it works well for what I'm trying to do. So I'm just gonna mark these bad boys, glue them up, cut a new back piece actually first, mark them up, then glue them up. Then we gotta foam the inside here. So with a mold, I need this not to be a 90, I need it to be a slight pitch out, like that. So it'll be a slight angle out to try and like release it better from the mold. And also that's like the same design that we've already came up with in the 3D software. So these haven't been like full CFD analysis, but they've done there's like lines you can like mark airlines and find pathways. A full CFD, it takes so much computing power. I don't have a computer that can do that stuff. So what we were looking at is just the testing of these specific shapes.
Okay.
So it depends on where you set it on your car and how well it'll perform, but these should be great for like a universal setup that people can kind of test their own. But these are specifically, they're only gonna go in one spot. They're gonna go right in front of your tire, and this to try to keep air from creating downforce and keep it from hitting and becoming turbulent air in your wheel well. So it'll evacuate a lot of the air that it's gonna be pushing into the wheel well.
That's exciting. I just want to see foam.
So we'll get this side glued up, and then we'll set this on its side, and we'll fill this with foam, and then cut the foam down, do some body filler. We'll see if we can get this into primer tonight. It's a good bit of work, but then we can make molds of this, then we can make carbon fiber versions of this, then you can make your own splitter, and I can sell you some carbon fiber scoops, and you can get some sick downforce in the front of your vehicle. A lot of people run around here with huge wings and no front splitter.
They just want the cool points.
Or it's like a little aluminum front splitter that like flops in the wind.
Yep.
All right, well, let's get to work. All right, so we have our base made. This will keep the curvature of this correct. You can see this is obviously just a straight piece. And if I set it on there, it's not lining up. I could push it down and hold it, but one nice thing about this stuff is with heat, I can actually get a good bend out of it. So I'm just gonna hold this up here, run my heat gun on it for a while. I'm gonna run some lines, a couple lines of epoxy, and then we should be good. And we're gonna be ready to foam. It's crazy because it like just keeps, it ramps up the speed at which it grows because all the bubbles in the bottom are growing too, so it just starts going faster and faster and faster.
And there it goes.
Boom.
Oh my god.
It's gonna fall, dude.
It's like a hanging poop.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Dried up.
Actually, what I want to do now is flip it back down. I want it to grow and stay attached. You should get a close up of me pulling this hand off here. Whoa, this one's exploding on the butt.
Oh my god.
Okay, so this is pretty much dried. I'm gonna go in and cut like a couple inches closer to it, maybe like an inch and a half, 2 inches away from the edge of it, and then start shaving it with the grinder and then some 40 grit. All right, so I'm gonna let this snap, crackle, pop a little bit more, and then we're going to do a little bit of shaving. But I think it still needs a little more time to set up. That's why it's making all this noise. All right, so we've shaved down the foam evenly on both sides. It's got a slight pitch to it, so it'll come out of the mold easily. And it's got a nice curve and everything like that, so it should flow really well. What I wanna do next is mix up some mud, and I gotta fill all this stuff with mud. I'm also gonna do some of these joints and taper this out. And then once all that mud's shaped and everything like that, we'll get into priming it and getting it ready for a mold, which you've seen us make a bunch of molds before. I'm gonna do the same thing to this one. This just needs a little bit of tapering out at the end. Might take this down a little more. This needs a little bit of mud work at the end right there, but then other than that, this one's pretty much ready to go for primer.
So tapering, I guess, what makes it easier to release?
Well, so this stuff is like, you know, maybe 1/4 inch thick. It's not going to come down to a perfect point unless I shaved it enough on the bottom. But yeah, so I'm going to taper it off so it's a correct form, basically.
Okay.
Round at the edges a little more too. But once that shape's all good, we'll go into that. We're probably not going to get into priming today, but we'll get some mud on this and get it pretty much there. The work from getting it mudded to like perfectly ready for primer and primed is really boring, and it's probably going to take me into tomorrow.
Is there a specific brand you like?
I like this Evercoat stuff a lot. It fills really well. This stuff's pretty thick. This Evercoat metal glaze, this stuff's really good for like a finishing putty. So I use the Quantum 1 stuff for higher fill stuff. You can use like the fiberglass filler before this stuff if you have some really big joints, but this is just filling in basically holes and bubbles and foam, so it's not too bad. This is actually maybe is even overkill, but this is takes a little bit more effort to fill in those holes with this stuff because it's so thin. So this is a really good choice when doing this specific thing.
What color hardener are you going to use with this?
I'm using the blue stuff just so it gives me a little bit more time to work with it. So I'll try to hit both sides at this first skim, but we'll see how that goes. This also shouldn't take too many skims, but
Definitely not compared to when you did the flares.
yeah, no. It's really hard to do with my wrist right now. I've had the cast off for 1 week.
Couldn't wait to get back to getting
So I
in the
do,
field.
but since the coronavirus stuff, I don't have, I can't go into the hospital for physical therapy. So
Plus, I wouldn't even want to
I'm
be
doing it all at my house. Yeah, I'm glad. I don't want to be in the hospital right now.
It's real chaotic.
Yeah. Let all those people that actually need to be there be there. I'll just mix up mud and that'll be my
Wrist therapy for the weekend.
So in your first coat, you're not going to get a lot of those really small voids filled, but it's not a problem. When you come back for the finishing putty, that stuff will take it right out.
Beatboxing.
It's Corona time.
What's the next step after?
So now that we've like tapered out a lot of these edges, might knock down some of the little small spots. As long as there's no high spots on this thing, then it's ready for the top coat. And then once we top coat it, sand that back down until it's like got a perfect finish. And then we prime it, make molds, make carbon parts, and then you go to industrygarage.com and you buy some and you make a 6 splitter and you make better lap times. That's it.